back to Valley Boys TCG CK here, and here we've got some more fun. We're running a TYRANNOMON deck against a NUMEMON deck. Really fun matchup. I actually was very tempted to run the exact same NUMEMON deck, or a similar NUMEMON deck, but instead I decided to run TYRANNOMON just because I had just put it together, finally got some ace cards. Now, there's one tech in here that I wasn't really wanting to run with, but I stuck with it anyway. So my opponent's deck is very interesting, very different build than what I would have it done. And I want to say I apologize here for the lights. It's just the way our locals has lighting set up on Friday nights, and so it might be a little bothersome to some viewers. Some of the later matches from this night, we did get the regular lights on, but so if the lighting bothers you, if the flashing lights bother you, I apologize for that. But we see our opponent's just kind of searching here, searching through his deck with the Garamons. We get a Kukuamon and Raising into the new BT14 TYRANNOMON. Now, I have been loving this TYRANNOMON because it allows us to, here you see we Digivolve for 1, thanks to both the green boost that he revealed in security and his own effect. Start of main BT14 TYRANNOMON lets you evo into, I believe it's Tyranno, Dinosaur, or Ceratopsian for a reduced cost of 1, and now that is for the turn, so I can go into a level 5 and level 6 for a 1 reduced cost, and then it also has the end of turn effect, being able to attack. So going up the line for a slightly reduced cost, being able to suspend with that Metal Tyranno, and then swing with Rust, and then Rust will unsuspend from its own effect from deleting something. So a very nice progression. If I had some Taigas on board, I would have much more value. Like the old Taiga that would give me piercing would have been nice here. And also those extra Taigas on board would have reduced the evo cost for this Rust TYRANNOMON. So now I'm kind of playing it a little aggressive because familiar with how the NUMEMON deck plays, it can be very aggressive. So he's coming at me fast. He can swarm the board pretty fast. So here we just got to go in, and we've got a tricky situation because we would love to swing over that NUMEMON to be able to restand, but we decided to go ahead and play a Crimson Blaze to avoid that Black King NUMEMON from playing out Digimon with effect, because that was the thing I was worried about, is he was just going to swarm the board and recur. So here he go ahead and you see NUMEMON with the Satsuki to go ahead and get Rush and Jamming. And then he's trying to decide what to do next. He ends up passing turn by going into another Black King and then canceling his Mind Link. So here we are, 2 memory. It's kind of tricky to come back from. So we can swing over the Black King. He'll bring something out, but we'll be able to restand and trash his security. So I think that's the best course of action here. So we trash his security, restand. He searches, he gets a Monzimon to hand, and a NUMEMON gets played out by that effect. Now here's a tricky situation because he still has 3 security left, and I can only swing for 3 checks, so I can't go for game here. So what we decide to do is we can go into the Metal Tyranno. Unfortunately, we won't be able to suspend anything because we have no Tamers. But we do get the 2 checks for the end of turn BT14 here. And then he's going to have tons of memory to work with. So if he can clear security, he can go for game. But we do have the new Rust TYRANNOMON Ace in hand, so I think that's what we're counting on here. We're counting on him going ahead and swinging, and then using counter timing to go ahead and suspend everything on his side. And no, instead he decides to just go into the NUMEMON here. Oh, there we go. So he goes ahead and swings so that he can have the security +1. So he's going for game here, swinging 2 checks. And we actually go into the Imperial German Ace. And then hitting a Terror Cluster, which is going to be so clutch there. Bottom decking that NUMEMON so that he won't get the effect. Now, the Imperial Ace is actually one of tech that I have in here because I only had 3 Rust TYRANNOMONs at the time. Now, right before the tournament started, I picked up my 4th, but I did not put it in deck in time, and I didn't want to change my deck in the middle of the match, so I ran with it. Imperial Ace is very similar, only it's single targets, so it's not bad. And he decides to just drop a Monzies to get the blocker. So that's a good move there. Now he's got a blocker on board, and it's going to be hard for me to get around that because I need to clear security. And I don't think I have a way to survive this one. And unfortunately, that piercing Taiga doesn't matter because we don't... It's not a Tyrannomon, so we don't have piercing. We don't get any of the effects. But we are able to play something out thanks to the Imperial effect. So we get to play out the Tyrannomon because I believe it's under 4,000. I think that's what the effect is from Imperial Ace. I might be mistaken. And so we just play a couple of training boosts to try to get us there. And our plan of attack looks like fizzles out there. I think I'm looking for something to suspend and lock him down. And he takes game one. So unfortunately, we kind of fizzled out there at the end. If we had the Rust Tyranno, I think that would have served us much better because we would have had the piercing there. Or the Rust Tyranno Ace, I should say. So here we start off. He just drops a NUMEMON. And we get to Evo into Kokua for one. We get the training boost to grab another Tyranno. And it's still early, so we have to decide if we want to build or set up our Tamers. So we go with a Tamer. We get Mimi on board, which Mimi is such a good card for this because we're going to build up anyway. We're going to have a level 5 or higher, and so it helps us get a little more aggression, a little extra swing. So he swings the NUMEMON, it dies. It has the on-deletion effect, which helps him grab some pieces. Yeah, his inclusion of the Ukomon is interesting. I haven't run Ukomon in my deck, but again, we're running very different builds, I believe. And then he just drops the Monzi. Monzimon is great because being able to get those NUMEMONs right back from trash and only being a 5 cost to drop, and now you have a 7k blocker. Great way to end the turn. So now we're having to decide. We're going to push out. We decide to push out so we can pop the training boost to go into the new Tyrannomon, which I'm not sure how I feel about that because his end of turn effect doesn't trigger here. But maybe we're trying to build again in the back. We can definitely do that. If we tap Mimi, we should be tapping Mimi here to go ahead and hatch, unless we don't have another rookie in hand. And it looks like we just drop another Tyrannomon to play out that Taiga for free. Interesting. I guess we didn't have the rookie in hand. Looks like we just drew a Terriermon. Unfortunate there. But I think we have the Rust Tyrannomon in hand, so I think we're baiting out the Rusty Ace. So we're hoping he goes in so that we can play out that Rusty Ace and give us prevent his whiteboard from doing too much damage here. So he goes into the Monzi, which is again going to give us... Oh, this is the one that does minus security and minus DP. And so he swings with the other Monzi. We're able to go into the Ace here, which will suspend everybody else. He'll get one check, and that is fine with us. And then if he decides to go into a Shin Monzi here, that will probably delete the Tyrannomon on board, but it'll give Ace something to do. And no, he goes with the Trident Arm, which is so good here because that overflow is going to bite me. And even though he can't block anyway, that overflow is going to bite me, and he's basically removed the big threat. And he's forcing one to attack. And he's going into the Shin Monzi, which will send my level 3 and then clear board. Such a good play here. I was not ready for that D-Digivolve effect. Definitely caught me off guard. So we're forced to just rebuild in the back. We do Terror Clusters to get rid of the Shin Monzi, just to try to slow down some of his board presence there. And hopefully we can build something in the back to come up and do something with. So here he swings in. He has Armor Purge, but it doesn't matter because it's just a rookie there. He plays the NUMEMON with the Satsuki to get rush and jamming, and boom, he hits the Crimson Blaze. The good thing about this deck is that it's a almost half red deck, or at least 40% red with all the Tyrannos. So it lets us run Crimson Blaze, which is a good counter to the meta right now. There's a lot of decks that are going wide with low bodies. And so here we see another Monzimon come down to tuck the NUMEMON, and now he's got a blocker on board. So here we promote, we've got the start of turn reduction, so we can Digivolve here for 2 cost, and that'll suspend, and we can lock 1 to not be able to unsuspend. So that one will be locked there. The problem is he's got Armor Purge, so I can't really remove him from the board. We should be tapping Mimi so that we can hatch and get a card draw. It looks like we just play a Taiga, and then end of turn effect, we go ahead and swing into the Monzimon just to get rid of the armor and pass him turn. Yeah, I think that's a missed opportunity. We should have definitely tapped Mimi, hatched, and got another draw off to see if we can grab something that we need. He swings in, hits a training boost for us. Then just thinking what his next move is going to be. Basically any sort of removal right now is basically going to do us in. I don't think we've even touched the security this time around. We've just been trying to control board and stay alive. But unfortunately, it doesn't look good for us. He goes into Platinum. He's calculating the math here. We trash a Numa to gain 2, so it's a 1 cost Evo. And then he just plays a Monzimon, or Evos into Monzimon to give himself another round of Armor Purge. So here we see we're building. We don't have much going on. It is not a good situation for us, because we can try to get into Rusty to swing over the, and looks like we tapped the Mimi to promote. See, we could have done so much more. We go into a Tyranno, which lets us play out another Tamer. Did we not have another Tamer? Or did we already play it and I missed it? Training to go into, oh, here we go. So now our Tyrannomons have plus security. It's not going to make much of a difference though. We don't have piercing. Had we had piercing, I think we could have done a lot more damage. We're just not seeing the Taiga that we need. And then here I make the mistake. I really should swing over the Monzi and then swing over the Numa when it armor purges, but I swing over the Platinum NUMEMON, which has the on deletion effect, which is probably my undoing here. So plays the on deletion effect that lets him play a Monzimon from hand. The Monzimon on play triggers to get the NUMEMON tucked under to gain 2 and pass the turn back. Now luckily the other one does still have the end of a turn effect to swing, but it's not going to make a difference. I just pull off the armor purge and he's got 3 bodies to swing in. Had it been another Crimson Blaze, maybe a chance, but nope. He takes it there. Unfortunate for us, but you know what? Really fun deck. Great matchup. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Hope to see you next time.